You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. Back to our second half of our show on Monday morning here at 6:15. My name is James Morris. I have my wife Anna Marie screening my phone calls. I've got Scott Hobbs calling all the way. I guess you're calling from home because I guess it's too early to be at work. Is that where you're at, Scott?
No, I'm actually at work.
You're actually at work like I am. Boy, I tell you
That's
what,
right.
You're early bird riser over here. All right, Scott, I did do some investigating on why they do not use the North Bay septic sewer treatment plant up there for septic is because they're not set up for it, like you told me, and he said it would cost over $1 million to get set up for it. And they really didn't want to do it because, well, it's just a hard job to do. You have to aerate it, add oxygen to it, do all these things to it to pre-treat it before you can treat it. And that was their reasoning for saying, no, we don't want it. That's what the engineers told me. That's why we don't want it coming up there. And I said, but you don't have anybody using it to speak of. Don't you need to figure out more ways to, to be able to pay for it? Well, that's going to be, unless you want to spend over $1 million to, retrofit it, that's what's going to have to happen. So I just wanted to let you know I did do a little checking on that for you.
Well, that's interesting. Well, how much did that plant cost them?
Well, they paid $26 million to purchase the plant from Rural Electric Cooperative, and then they spent another $3 million to buy a $660,000 piece of property. I think it was 300 acres behind them. Am I correct on that? 183 acres. 183 acres. That was on the tax rolls for $660,000, but they paid $3 million for it. So we've got $29 million in this white elephant up there. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, and it's not making us any money, and and there's 5,200 families that are paying for it that aren't even hooked up to it. That's
I know $1 million is a lot of money to the average folks, but after you spent $29 million, you spend a little bit more to generate some income.
That's what I'm saying right now. Right now, I'd like, and this is where I'd love you to come in right here. I would love to be able to find out what companies like yourself and other companies are averaging taking to pay St. Joe down there to dump of sewage sludge that is not pre-treated. I mean, right now that's the only place that they either Pensacola or St. Joe. That's the only place in Northwest Florida to go to, if I understand correctly.
Well, you can go to Campbellton. Waste Management has a facility up there, but it's by scheduled appointment only, so it's not really convenient for, hey, Mrs. Jones's septic is overflowing, we've got to get it pumped and dumped. So we can't really schedule those type of things.
How many houses can you visit before you have to pump your truck or dump your truck?
We have a small truck just for maneuverability, so we can get into some tight places, but we can really only take 2, sometimes 3 homes, depending on the size of the tank.
Right.
There are other companies out there that have really large trucks that can take, 3 to 4 homes before they have to go dump.
So you would venture. So just guessing, would you say that you would have to travel your business? Y'all go to St. Joe twice a week, 3 times a week?
No. Oh no! If it's a busy, rainy season, we're going 2 and 3 times a day.
2 or 3 times a day at $300 a truckload, right?
Right.
$300 truckload, and there's how many septic tank companies doing the same thing you're doing in Bay County? I'm not trying to, to put you on the spot here, but how many would you say? 10 companies easily?
Probably not that many. There's probably 5 or 6 that are main ones. And then you go into the outer counties. There's several there.
And they're doing the same thing. They're having to go to either Pensacola, Campbellton, or to St. Joe. Right.
And like I said, some of the rural counties, in Holmes County, Jackson County, there's a few folks up there that do the land spread, but that's going to be banned here very soon.
Yeah, they're banning that because they don't want that to happen anymore. They've let some that are grandfathered in do it, get away with it, but they're clamping down on it. They're not allowing any more permits at that, so that's definitely being going by the short side. Now, I would be, in an ideal world, it would be wonderful if everybody was on sanitary sewer, but this is not an ideal world where we have a Walmart and a CVS on every corner. Oh, never mind.
Right.
Never mind. We do have a Walmart and a CVS on every corner. But the reality is, it gets rather expensive to travel back and forth, but it's rather expensive to do what they want to do. But we're not using this plant, and I'd like to see us use it. But they're talking about doing $1 million survey, engineering study on opening up the old pass. But all you got to do, to see if it's feasible, all you got to do is look what the Corps of Engineers have done along the East Coast, along the Gulf Coast. Every time they open up another jetties, the other jetties in the area close up.
Right.
It's just common sense. It's just the way nature is. And we, in my opinion, I would love to see the old pass open, but you and I both know that it's going to cost a lot of money to open it up, and it'll cost a lot of money yearly to keep it open. And I think I did a little study this weekend. Did you know that $27 million of affluent go into by the old pass from the military point every day?
Wow.
What'd you say, Anna? I said dollars. I said earlier in the morning, 27 million gallons. Gallons of affluent goes in. And years ago when that pass was open, it wasn't a big deal. It would flush it out. Now the pass is closed. And if you go out there and look at that area, it's turning into a dead pool, literally a dead pool.
It is, yeah.
So why don't we take that restore money, that $1 million they're talking about spending to do that, take that money and take that pipe that's dumping in there and go underneath Shell Island and take it to the Gulf. That would solve that problem on making that part of the bay die and get it out to the Gulf of Mexico where it's eventually going anyway. But the only thing it would see drawing that back would be the EPA saying, no, you can't do that.
Right.
But that would at least solve that problem on dying. The only people that would be unhappy about, it would clean the pass up, keep where the pass would come back. We're not adding that 27 million gallons of effluent every day from the paper mill. That would go out to the Gulf because originally it was put there and it's supposed to be cleaned out by the pass that was open. It doesn't happen anymore. That was a long time ago, and since that time we built the new pass. The pass is closed up. So in order to make something that's sustainable, that will not have to be constantly monitored and constantly cleaned and dredged out like a new pass, like a pass would be, just take the pipe, continue it to the Gulf, and that would save 27 million gallons of effluents going into our bay every day. I think that might be a much more sustainable idea than trying to sit there and open the pass up, but I'm sure that won't be very popular with the fishermen. What are your viewpoints on this?
Yeah, no, we can't fight nature. We have to figure out how to work with it.
Yeah,
because nature's going to win.
All the time. Mother Nature is not kind. Mother Nature is not nice. Mother Nature is a real meanie sometimes, and she doesn't really care if you're happy or you think it's fair, because that pass will fill in no matter what we do. We see it all the time. And the next hurricane that comes through, who knows? It may just open it back up again.
It may.
Or it may make another pass right in the middle of Shell Island, but we know that's what it does. And you can't fool with Mother Nature. Being a beekeeper has taught me a lot about Mother Nature out there. Right when you think you got her figured out, she'll throw you a curveball so fast, it'll blow you out of the water. But tell me,
right.
What do you think about the idea of taking that North Bay sewer treatment plant and converting it to be used as a central collection point for septic tank sludge till we get all of Bay County in Northwest Florida under a septic sewer system?
Well, I think it's a fabulous idea. I mean, I'm right in the middle of that industry, and understand the challenges of having to travel, and what we have to charge a customer. We have to pass that on to the people that have septic tanks. So It's not just affecting those that are on that treatment plant, but the people that are on septic, that we have to travel to Pensacola or Port St. Joe or make arrangements with Campbellton to dump. So it affects everybody in the county and surrounding counties.
We're talking about it's probably an extra $25 to $50 per dump, maybe even more than that. I don't know if you only have one house that you put on there and you filled up your tank and it's going to cost you $300 to dump it. I'm sure you're not going to eat all that. I'm sure you can't.
And we'd have to sit down and do the math, but it definitely would be a savings for everyone.
It definitely would be. Because I was reading in the paper yesterday, $1 million study for a 2-year study to open up the old pass. You and I both know, we used to fish every time, the shifting sands out there, they can't even hardly keep the new pass that they dredged 40 years, 60 years ago, they can't even hardly keep it open because it likes to fill in. But the old pass always is going to fill in, especially if you've got the new pass there, because that's just the way the Corps of Engineers seem to make things work. We've seen that all along the East Coast, the Atlantic coast. They'll put out a pier or jetties, and then it affects something down the beach 200 yards away or half a mile down the road. It's just the way it works. all the studies in the world are going to say the same thing. You can't keep it open without dredging it. Even if you put jetties in there, even if you put rocks and do everything like you're supposed to, it's going to fill in. That's just the way the system works. But yeah, I think it's a good idea if we could probably put that pipe underneath Shell Island to the Gulf of Mexico. That would solve a lot of that. And we still have affluent that's going into East Bay from Panama City, and we still have it coming over there by off 23rd Street. There's two places of entry that they want to put it, it's already going into the bay. And they're proposing putting a third one. You're not going to believe this. I'm almost shocked. They want to take the effluent from the North Bay septic sewer system and put it in the steam generating plant canal where everybody goes fishing.
Right.
I'm not making that up. Can you? I mean, wouldn't you think that might destroy the environment up in that area?
Well, I'm not sure the quality of, I'm not a scientist.
I'm not either.
Not sure the quality of the water when it comes out. But again, no matter what you do, there's going to be a cause and effect.
Right. I would love to see all that water go to the military. If we have it where it's all interconnected with the sewer system, and have it where it goes to the military point, and from there it goes to the Gulf of Mexico. That way it keeps our bay cleaner. I'm talking about something for, what are my grandkids' kids going to be? Will they be able to go scalloping? Hell, heck, my grandkids can't even go scalloping anymore, much less their kids when they have them. But it is getting bad out there, and I just know that you're on the first vanguard of keeping our county healthy. Is the sewer system. If it wasn't for a sewer system and it wasn't for the septic tank system and getting rid of waste, we would all be sick. We would all have diseases. We would all be, that's one of the things that caused polio was lack of
the Black Plague.
And the Black Plague, all those things together. But it's the what's made our society so much healthier and so much more progressive is to be able to have a good sanitation system. And this is where people like you. Your industry has actually helped improve the quality of lives for people. And for that, Scott, I'm very, very thankful.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it is kind of amazing to think about. You're bringing in fresh water into a home and you're taking out wastewater within inches of each other.
Yes.
And the people in the home are staying healthy. That's really amazing if you think about it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, 50, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Let's just say back before the Depression. All the way into the 50s, polio. That was a very common problem, and a lot of that had to do with sanitation or lack of sanitation. But thanks to people like you in the industry, and I would love to be able to sit down with you and other people in the industry and see if we can possibly figure out a way to make the North Bay plant a place to be able to dump the sludge where you don't have to go to St. Joe and people from all surrounding counties can come there and make money for that place where maybe we can drop the prices for the 5,200 families that are having to pay for this. They are.
Sure.
They're having to pay for it. Scott, people want to get up with you, they can reach you at 763-2001.
That's right. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's Mr. Reuter Plumbing. Scott Hobbs, give him a call from anything from water heaters all the way down to making sure your drains run like they're supposed to. Scott, I'll talk to you next Monday, and thank you so much again for calling, sir.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guarantee. Beep, 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 yeah.